Religious leaders Reverend Al Sharpton and Rabbi Jonah Pessner led a ministers' march for justice this past Monday on the 54th anniversary of the March on Washington. 1,000 ministers joined to protest President Trump and racism. Our next guest, a prominent bishop, criticized the marchers, saying they don't want to work with the president to heal race relations in our country. Bishop Harry Jackson, member of President Trump's Evangelical Advisory Board, also senior pastor at Hope Christian Church outside of Washington, D.C., joins us. Thank you for coming back to the program.
Thank you for having us.
Well, Reverend Sharpton led 1,000 ministers marching across Washington. You were part of another group of clergy that day on Monday. What were you doing?
Well, I was really trying to bring attention to the fact that we have spiritual problems centering around racism. If racism is America's original sin, what should the church do to, in fact, because we have not done things in the past, what should we do now?
You called out Sharpton and the other ministers marching, saying there was hypocrisy here and that they don't want to work with President Trump on improving race relations. Why?
I think that there is an attempt to just defame the current president, and I think it's kind of payback for how they felt President Obama had been treated. But the reality is our problems are so big, the church must unify and then be very specific in how we can lead the way to change our communities. So my calling him out was, hey, you protest, you got problems, you complain, but what are you doing tangibly to change things?
President Trump's comments after the violence in Charlottesville caused a lot of negative reaction, disbanding ultimately the business advisory boards. But only one evangelical leader left this board. So your faith advisory board. So how do you think the board can help? And why didn't more leaders leave?
Well, I think many didn't leave because they say he's just started. Behind the scenes, I think a lot of our recommendations are being put into practice, and there are things that are going to come forth like criminal justice reform, jobs in the urban areas, things of this nature. And so they have hope and confidence that we can really affect a change. Also, the anti-abortion stand that he has been so strong on for many of us is a huge issue. It certainly is for me. And so we believe he's just started. Why just go all negative right now?
Bishop Harry Jackson, member of President Trump's Evangelical Advisory Board, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.